C1. You are listening at FameTV.info. In the inn, the sound of thunder rumbled outside the window as Eugene Roa laid on the bed quietly, when suddenly the door was kicked open. She instantly opened her eyes and jumped up. The person who came was a man. He was dressed in a big red-black robe and looked to be around 18 or 19 years old. His eyes were burning like flames as he stared at her. As Eugene Roa held on to the dagger tightly, and squinted his eyes at the person in front of him. She had been chased countless times along the way. He let out a sigh in his heart and suddenly felt that allowing that girl to continue living by disguising herself as a man was a mistake. The man's face contorted, as if he was in extreme pain. And the next second, with the force of a bamboo breaking, it pounced towards Eugene Roa. Eugene Roa dodged to the side, turned his wrist, and aimed a sharp dagger at the black-robed man's neck. Without even thinking about it, the man in black grabbed the dagger with his hand. A fishy smell assaulted his nostrils. As Eugene Roa frowned, just as he was about to give her a heavy palm, the black-gowned man grabbed her slender waist, his burning lips curling up into his own. For a moment, Eugene Roa couldn't even come back to his senses. It wasn't that she wasn't quick enough. However, this had happened too suddenly, with almost no warning signs. Putting aside her experience of being hunted, she never thought that there would be someone who would be interested in her current dark and unassuming appearance, let alone if the person in front of her was an assassin. When the black-robed man tore apart Eugene Roa's outer garment and rudely squeezed into her lips, Eugene Roa had already raised her slender palm, and mercilessly slapped it towards his neck. "You actually dared to hit this king?" The black-gowned man's eyes were filled with rage and horror. He grabbed Eugene Roa unwillingly. After that, his brain sank into darkness and collapsed onto the ground. As Eugene Roa sneered, "I still dare to kill you." No one had ever taken advantage of her before. Even the man who had touched her hand now had grass on his grave that was probably taller than her. As Eugene Roa expressionlessly sent the man in black away to see to Thagata, but he was stopped by the sword outside the door that suddenly attacked him. The sword chi was extremely powerful. Eugene Roa squinted his eyes, and dodged to the side. She raised her eyes to look at the man and the dagger left her hand. She then directly attacked the person who had just ran in and jumped down from the window. As Eugene Roa flew forward through the rain, the old ailment and the rain had yet to add on, the severe cold following along, making him suffer greatly. She thought, "See this person again, I must kill him." 1 year later. As Eugene Roa had already adapted to the status of the main son of the palace, and even participated in the examinations for a certain goal. The pile of questions made her feel very uncomfortable. The answers were all written with "Long live the Emperor." No one dared to say anything wrong, so she was hit by a flower scout. He was called out to the Emperor as a matter of course. The faces of the officials twisted, too shameless, down and back. Eugene Roa saw her servant. "LV Roa, why haven't you left yet?" "This servant will naturally wait for young master to return home with me." LV Roa was all smiles. "Young master, did it go smoothly?" "Yes." Eugene Roa's gaze was warm as he replied softly. As her gaze shifted, she inadvertently caught sight of a man wearing a big red-black robe walking towards her. Under the gentle sunlight, the man's temperament was unforgettable, peerless in the world. When their gazes met, Eugene Roa's expression changed and he clenched his fists. It was him, that scoundrel that had cheated her and caused her to suffer a serious illness. Listen to the full novel at FameTV.info, direct link in the description.